Today I'm going to walk you through exactly how we fixed a new client contractor's books to have the books help support the contractor in running and growing the business, and not just have the books to help and support the IRS, which is what most of the time is the case out there, believe me. So if you're a contractor making anywhere from $500,000 all the way up to $5 million a year, and you constantly find yourself checking your bank balance, running the business off of your bank balance, and you only check your financial statements or talk to your CPA once a year, you will find this video helpful. As it pertains to this contractor that decided to work with us, well, first thing I noticed is that all of the transactions, they were all categorized and everything was reconciled. The problem is that once I ran the profit and loss statement, it was a beautiful 2-page, 3-page essay, and we don't want that. There's a lot of clutter and complexity that's unnecessary for you as a busy business owner, for you to take time out of your day, out of your schedule, to take time and sit and try and understand what's going on when you have so much clutter in your profit and loss statement. We want your profit and loss statement to be as concise and as insightful as possible. The second thing that I noticed is that, well, everything was handled with a third-party service for payroll. So all the labor, the crew, and even the owner, the officer, everything was handled with a third-party payroll service. Nothing wrong with that. However, everything that was entered into the books was only the net deposit as payroll wages expense that was getting entered. The problem with that is that when you run payroll, you not only incur what you deposit them, but as an employer, you're also responsible for remitting any payroll taxes and any federal and state income tax withholding directly to the institutions, directly to the governmental institutions every month, every quarter, and at the end of every year. There's always a cadence around payroll. So what was going on is that this owner constantly found himself with surprise bills at the end of every quarter, at the end of every month, and he didn't understand why he was paying more than he thought he was gonna be paying, and that's because payroll was not being entered correctly. So we first came around and consolidated any repetitive ledger accounts that could be consolidated into one. So for example, if we had an interest expense account going to a bank and then another one to a dealer because they purchased a machinery or a piece of equipment, we consolidated the interest portion, the interest expense of going towards those two entities into one, and just have it all under interest expense. So I'm not gonna go into the details of how many scenarios we had like these, but conceptually speaking, this is what we did. And then we fixed payroll. So we had to go all the way back to the very beginning, pull up, get all of those downloads from the third-party payroll service provider, and basically correct all of the payroll expense entries into the books at the employee level. And then the third thing that we did, and which is the very first step that I would say for you as a contractor to implement if you can, is hashing out any direct job project cost. For example, your crew wages, any travel expenses that you incur on behalf of or that you pay to your crew to travel from and to job sites, any gas and fuel related to a specific job, any supplies, any job supplies and materials, all of these direct costs, you want to have them right after your top line revenue so that they make up your gross profit number, because that gross profit tells you how much money the work that you actually do is making you. Very, very important when it comes to contractor accounting to do this. You want to be able to see direct job costs separately from your just general operating expenses to get to your net operating income, or also known as the bottom line of your profit and loss statement on QuickBooks Online. Now, we're gonna take it a step further. What else did we do for this company, for this contractor's books? Well, after your net operating income, the next thing that we threw in there, well, was depreciation for all of the assets that the business owns. And then most importantly, we threw in there month in and out, we throw tax expense. And then right below that, it's where you're going to see what we call your net income. That net income number is after tax. And then right below that, we added how much is the owner withdrawing just for personal purposes, right? Because unfortunately, the tax bill is only paid until next year, April 15th, no later than that. So what happens most of the time is that owners constantly over withdraw from the business bank account, not taking into consideration that the tax bill is going to come around in April 15th. The result of all this, well, the contractor now is able to see how much money the work is making him, how well he's doing at managing the business. If he's traveling too much, too often to the job sites, maybe he can cut a trip or two. And then he also has visibility into his tax expense. So now he can control his cash flow and understand how much he can withdraw from the business bank account over to his personal bank account without suffocating the business when it's time to file and pay the taxes come April 15th of the following year. Now, if you made it this far, you're probably wondering, oh man, this is too much stuff that I cannot incorporate. I don't have the time. Maybe I don't understand it. That's totally okay. The only thing that I would say is if you can just implement just this one thing, and that is segregate any direct project job cost from the cost of you operating the business. If you can just do that, have those direct costs make up your cost of goods sold to make up your gross profit, just do that. You're already way better than most contractors out there, because this is the very first step into you having an understanding into job profitability. And you want to know that, at least an idea, because that's going to help you price better. Okay, you price better, you make more money, and you can choose to take on the more profitable jobs and know which jobs are least profitable, and for you to know and be okay with rejecting such jobs. And that concludes this video. If you liked the video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, follow the channel. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. And with that said, I'll see you on the next one.